do task 1B, masking it a different way, a more accurate way. Now, this is going to be tricky for some of you guys, so bear with me. So let's go again. We have opened up the image file open if you need to. I already have mine open. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use the elliptical tool again. It's regular mode. And I'm going to eyeball this close as possible without using the ruler guidelines, but if you need the rulers to help you, do so. All right. I'm going to press Command C, Command N, clipboard, make it transparent, and then paste it on there. Now, in the previous lesson, you used some of the basic masking tools like the elliptical, use a bit of the lasso, and the magic wand. Okay. This one, we are going to go to the pen tool. Now, there's the pen tool and curvature pen tool. I'm just going to go and show you the pen tool and show you the new curvature pen tool that Adobe's introduced, and there's some benefits to it. Now, what I'm going to do here is explain the benefits of doing it this way. Okay? Accuracy. There's nothing better than using the pen tool. Okay? Now, I have here the Vectra logo masked, and I have different steps. I'm just going to show you in a nutshell, because I don't want to bore you guys here. I'll show you what I did for these certain segments. But essentially, I masked this object, and I created a mask path around the overall shape and made these lines. So not to bore you and showing you all these steps, I'm just going to go and show you very quickly the steps to creating this path. So with the pen selected, okay, what you want to do is you want to create a starting point. So I'm going to start right here. I'm going to do the inside of this Volkswagen logo. Right? Again, I just want to delete the inside paint job and only have the Photoshop. So what I do is I start there, and you're going to make decisions on what pixels to trim. Like, do I go on the inside, the outside? I pretty much want to cut into the inside so it's a cleaner edge. So I'm going to actually sacrifice and lose a few pixels. I don't want the jaggies. Believe it or not, that is a term in graphic design called the jaggies, and these are the steps in terms of the inclination of that color. Okay, so I'm going to click right here and stop, and I made a straight line. Now, I'm just going to focus on this shape, and then the overall shape, and then stop there. I'm not going to do everyone for the sake of time. So imagine I repeat this step, the process, and I'm clicking and dragging, making points. Okay, so how this pen tool works. If I click here, it starts a point. If I click at another point and let go, it'll make a straight line. Okay, let me zoom in closer. Now, if I want to create a curve, I can click and drag and make a curved line segment. Okay, now I'm going to just leave it like that, and I'll show you two methods of doing this. Okay, so right here, I'm going to click, because I see a curve. I'm going to move my mouse without clicking and dragging because it's still active. I'm going to click and drag right here and create a curve, and I'm going to have my handles continue flowing that way. I'm going to click right here, let go, and I'm going to finish it off. So make sure, and I'm going to click and drag on this one to make a curve. Okay, so that's one method. Now, if you're not used to the pen tool your first time, here's a suggestion. Okay, click, click, and just make straight lines. So just look at the apexes. So this is going to be an apex, going to be a curve here, and a curve here. Okay, I'm going to let go. Now, what did I do this way? Well, I'm going to introduce you to the curvature tool. So usually I just start with the pen tool doing the lines. Curvature tool is nice. You can click on line segment and then just curve it after the fact. So if you're all like nervous about using this tool for the first time, the pen tool, you can use the curvature tool and click and drag. It's kind of intuitive. Remember, these handles you can adjust afterwards too to play with the geometry and pitch. So And also, if you want to, you can click on this tool called the direct selection, which allows you to directly select that specific point and play with the handles afterwards. So if you're not familiar with the pen tool, maybe even just making straight pen lines, then playing with the pen tool curvature tool afterwards, or playing with the direct selection tool with the points, and you can get a nice smooth. Okay. So there's two options there. Let's fast forward. Imagine I went through all these steps. So I'm going to go back to this file, and I have all the anchor points selected. Okay. And let me go back to this point here. So imagine I went in and let me just, so say I even made mistakes, like I actually made my vector path that I didn't even fix it. Okay, you can actually fix this after the fact. So what I did here is I closed my path, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually right click. Oh, sorry, I apologize. Right click on your screen, I apologize, with the pen tool or any of these tools, and say create a vector mask. So let me go back again. Once you're happy with all your line paths, because you can make multiple shapes, okay, and just make sure that when you're using the pen tool or any of these tools, that it's on path and not on shape. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, so with any of these tools selected, right click on your image and say create a vector mask. This is different than a layer mask. A vector mask is a mask that has the vectors connected to it. So what it does, it hides all those shapes. Okay, you can now go in with, again, the curvature tool or the direct selection tool and play with these. So let's go back again, curvature tool. Let me zoom in on this area, and I'm going to click this pen path, and it just knows that you want to drag it. And what's cool about this, you can actually see the mask hide those areas. So if I want to click and drag here, beautiful. Okay. And if you need to manipulate, the curvature point tool still kind of works like the direct selection tool. So you kind of don't even need to go to the direct selection tool, because it knows that you kind of want to hide those pixels by moving that point, and it'll adjust. So the curvature tool is a nice feature for after the fact for cleaning up. So remember, if I go in, I'll reveal the original color. If I go in, I'll trim it. So masking it. So use the curvature tool. It helps a lot, especially with beginners who are not familiar with the pen tool on using it off the get-go. Click and drag, create curves, move lines, and remember, direct selection tool. Hover your mouse over top a specific anchor point. You can click and drag it anywhere you want, or you can control the handles that control the geometry of that line. You can make a curve if you want to. Okay. And once you're happy with that, you will then, obviously I still need to control these points here. You would save the file. Before I do, I'm going to do the trick of trimming the pixels. Okay. And I'll save this as a PSD version. Okay, Photoshop. And then file save as, and save it as a PNG version. Now, one thing I'm going to show you here, there's PNG. So imagine I press save, then well, obviously you will name this Almeida underscore David, just to make sure people understand. PS underscore task 1B. Okay. Now, I just wanted to compare, and here's the two results. The one on the, so what I had done here, guys, is I incorporated a layer mask. Now, on white, it looks okay, but this is the method I used using the layer style, or just the basic, not the non-vectored path mask, and it looks okay. It's all right. But when you add the effects on and see the difference, you can see that the vector path does produce a smoother, cleaner crop of the image. Okay, and now you know to use both methods. Typically, guys, if you're doing something of professional quality and you want a professional result, use the vector path, use the pen tool to crop out an image. If you're doing something quick and fast and you don't care for, the other masking methods are adequate. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right,